Now picture a strange world where molten metal falls from the sky, a planet where it rains glass sideways, a place where the winds are many times the speed of sound. Even though these planets sound like stuff from a nightmare, they do exist. Would you survive on any of them? Nope. But come on, let's see why. Now, brace yourself, and I mean it literally, because WASP 127b is terrifyingly windy. On Earth, our most powerful storms produce winds around 200 miles per hour. And even Neptune, the windiest planet in our solar system, tops out at about 1,100 miles per hour. But on 127b, winds dash across the equator at a staggering 20,500 miles per hour. That's 35 times faster than a jet and faster than the speed needed to orbit the Earth. 127b orbits a star similar to our Sun, but it's super close to its parent star, only 4.3 million miles away. That's why it takes just 4.2 days to make a full orbit. The heat there is insane. Cloud tops reach 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit, which is enough to melt almost, anything. And 127b is supermassive. Well, kind of. It's a gas giant with a diameter 1.3 times that of Jupiter, but only 1/6 of Jupiter's mass, which makes it a giant, hot, puffy balloon floating in space. The planet's atmosphere is so expanded that it's basically a boiling, raging storm globe, completely unlivable. If you somehow ended up on 127b, survival would be, impossible. The winds would toss you around, the extreme heat would cook you, and the planet itself would offer no solid ground to stand on. You wouldn't be able to breathe, move, or survive even for a second in these extreme conditions. But shockingly, that's not the worst planet you could land on. Imagine a world where it literally rains iron. This is WASP 76b, a planet so close to its star that the dayside scorches at over 4,300 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to vaporize metals into gas. The nightside is cooler, but still a blistering 2,500 degrees. Such a temperature makes those metals condense into clouds and rain down, like molten malted milk balls falling from the sky. The planet orbits its star every 43 hours, and it's tidally locked, which means that one of its sides always faces the star. The winds on the planet are absolutely insane, blowing up to 11,200 miles per hour. They zoom across the planet, fueled by the extreme temperature difference between day and night. And 76b is huge. It's a gas giant twice the size of Jupiter. It's practically sitting on the edge of its star's outer atmosphere. Scientists say we don't fully understand the physics here. Eventually, this planet could spiral into its star, or radiation could strip away its atmosphere, leaving only a scorching rocky core. Now, a human on 76b wouldn't last a fraction of a second. The dayside would instantly vaporize you, just like the nightside. And don't forget about the winds. You'd be ripped apart before you even touch the ground. And iron rain would slam down around you like fiery pellets. Sounds like a place to avoid. Now, if you're looking for long-term real estate investments, avoid WASP 12b. This planet is over 1,300 light-years away in the Auriga constellation. It orbits its sun-like star extremely closely, completing one orbit in just over one Earth day, about 26 hours. The planet's surface temperature reaches nearly 4,600 degrees Fahrenheit. It is 40% more massive than Jupiter, but powerful tidal forces stretch it into a football shape. But the main problem is that the atmosphere of this planet has expanded to nearly 3 times Jupiter's radius and is being pulled onto the star. And that means the planet is slowly being destroyed. Astronomers think that in about 3 to 10 million years, the planet could be gone for good. They found a huge cloud of stuff flying off the planet, including chemicals never seen on other planets before. No one would survive on 12b. The surface temperature is hotter than molten lava or any furnace on Earth. Any protective suit would fail instantly. The atmosphere is being ripped away by the planet's star, so there's no breathable air, just superheated hydrogen and helium streaming away into space. Plus, the gravity is extreme, so moving there would be, impossible. In any case, you would be vaporized almost instantly before trying to take a step. But however bad this planet sounds, the next world on our list beats it, because it rains glass on this planet. HD 189733b, I'll just nickname it Bubba, is a truly terrifying place, just 64.5 light-years from Earth. It's a gas giant, slightly bigger than Jupiter, and about 11% wider. But don't let that fool you. This world is a nightmare. Winds roar across the planet at up to 5,400 miles per hour, which is about 7 times the speed of sound. Temperatures soar between 1,600 and 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to melt metal. The planet also spins incredibly fast, completing one orbit in just 2.2 days. It races around its star at roughly 341,000 miles per hour. Its cobalt blue color comes not from water, but from a scorching, hazy atmosphere filled with silicate clouds. These clouds can condense into glass, and the planet's hurricane-force winds likely fling it sideways, making the rain fatal. Bubba is a hot Jupiter, a huge gaseous planet racing in a tight orbit around its star. It's also one of the most extreme, hostile worlds astronomers have ever found. If you somehow ended up in this world, survival would be out of the question. The heat alone is lethal. Insane winds would slam you around. An umbrella wouldn't save you from glass raining sideways, which would shred you in seconds. In short, you wouldn't last a heartbeat in this inhospitable world. But there's a planet that makes almost every other world look tame. It's Gliese 436b. It's small for an exoplanet, roughly the size and mass of Neptune, but don't let that fool you. Its proximity to its star turns it into one of the most extreme planets we know. 436b orbits a red dwarf star just 2.5 million miles away. To put that into perspective, Mercury, the closest planet to our Sun, is nearly 36 million miles out. This means that 436b races around its star every 2 days and 15.5 hours. That's lightning fast. A year there is shorter than a long weekend on Earth. The surface temperature is a balming 820 degrees Fahrenheit, which doesn't sound too bad in comparison. But there's the twist. The planet is covered with ice. Now, that's not ordinary ice though. This is Ice 7, a dense, crystalline form of water created under unimaginable pressure. Imagine water so tightly packed that instead of melting under extreme heat, it remains solid. Scientists call it burning ice, and it's a form of ice that Earth laboratories can only replicate under controlled conditions. The atmosphere of the planet is just as bizarre. The planet is mostly hydrogen, like a gas giant, but it contains 7,000 times less methane than expected. Instead, astronomers find a surprising amount of carbon monoxide, which shouldn't survive in such heat. To make it even stranger, 436b is losing its atmosphere. The planet is wrapped in a huge cloud of hydrogen, probably pushed out by the strong gravity from being so close to its star. This cloud is 50 times bigger than the star itself. Unlike a comet's tail, it doesn't get blown away. It follows the planet. Astronomers think that 436b has already lost up to 10% of its atmosphere. Now, if a human, like you, somehow landed on Gliese 436b, survival would be impossible from the first second. The surface temperature is hot enough to vaporize skin and incinerate anything exposed. The gravity is crushing because the planet is dense and packed tightly with matter, which would make a person feel like trying to lift a car with every step. Even worse, can it get worse? Yes. The atmosphere is mostly hydrogen with high levels of carbon monoxide. Breathing would be instantly toxic, and a single inhale would shut down your lungs. And that burning ice is so solid under pressure that even if you somehow avoided the heat and toxic air, the ground itself would be a strange, brittle, crystalline surface that could fracture or collapse underfoot. Add to that the planet's rapid orbit. Completing a full year so fast means winds and atmospheric currents are extreme. No shelter, no suit, and no parachute could protect you. In short, you would be instantly boiled, crushed, and poisoned, all while the strange, dense ice underfoot refuses to melt. Well, bye-bye. Now, for years, planets with two suns felt like science fiction. something that only worked in Star Wars, with those famous double sunsets on Tatooine. But now, astronomers think those worlds may actually be real, and not just one or two of them. Scientists have found 27 possible planets orbiting two stars at the same time. Along the way, they also spotted some other Star Wars worlds, too. Some worlds in the saga seem too extreme, but space actually has planets like that. For example, there are worlds like Kepler 10b and Kepler 78b. These planets orbit so close to their stars that their surfaces are literally melted rock. They're not a bit warm, we're talking about lava oceans. The ground is constantly reshaping, the crust trying to form and instantly getting torn apart again. If you stood there, which you absolutely wouldn't survive, it would be like standing next to a furnace where the floor under your feet is boiling. Even the chemistry there gets interesting. Those places might be packed with heavy elements like iron, which means that, in theory, it's the kind of world a mining company would love. In practice, it would be like trying to mine inside an active volcano vent. This planet is just like Mustafar from Star Wars, the place where Anakin and Obi-Wan had a lava duel. Now let's visit another extreme world that basically looks like Hoth, a frozen, empty planet where there's nothing but snow, wind, and survival problems. In real life, we've found exoplanets that feel pretty close to that vibe too. One example is this distant world. It floats more than 20,000 light-years away. It orbits a dim red dwarf star, so it barely gets any heat at all. The result, well, isn't nice. Temperatures drop below about minus 370 degrees Fahrenheit. That's colder than most natural environments we know of. The planet is a frozen rock drifting in near darkness. So if Hoth had a real twin, this would be it. Then there's Bespin, the gas giant with floating cities like Cloud City. In Star Wars, it's kind of romantic. Giant clouds, platforms, a whole civilization living in the sky. In reality, gas giants are usually the complete opposite of friendly. Most are just huge balls of hydrogen and helium with no solid surface at all. But astronomers have found some that sit in a more interesting zone. One example is 47 Ursae Majoris b. It's a gas giant, but its orbit puts it in a range where temperatures could be around 41 degrees Fahrenheit. That's not even cold, it's just, cool. And if a planet like that had the necessary kind of atmosphere layers or floating structures, sky habitats wouldn't sound totally impossible. Not likely, but not pure sci-fi either. When you line all of this up, it gets kind of suspicious. Mustafar-style lava worlds are real. Hoth-style frozen wastelands exist too. Even Bespin, like gas giants, can sit in comfortable temperature zones. So, what if Star Wars didn't just invent these environments, but borrowed them from real life? After all, some of those really existing worlds are too weird even for sci-fi, like circumbinary planets. Those are planets that orbit two stars at the same time. Astronomers have now confirmed more than 6,000 exoplanets. That's a huge number, but fewer than 20 of them are circumbinary. Imagine our Earth trying to circle two suns instead of one. The orbit would get very tricky very fast. This is probably why discoveries of such planets are so rare. Now, most planets are found using something called the transit method. It's quite simple. You watch a star, and if a planet crosses in front of it, the star gets a tiny bit dimmer. It's not a big blackout, more like someone briefly moving a coin across a distant flashlight. From that tiny dip in light, scientists can figure out size, orbit, and sometimes even what the planet is made of. But this method has one big issue. It only works if the planet's orbit lines up just right with our point of view. If the orbit is tilted or chaotic, which is common in binary systems, the planet might never cross the star from our angle, so we just won't see it. That's why binary star systems are tricky. It's not because they're rare. In fact, most stars in the universe probably live in systems with 2 or more stars. But planets in those systems tend to have unstable or complicated orbits, so detection gets even harder. And still, astronomers have managed to catch a few. One of the first big ones was Kepler 16b. It sits about 250 light-years away and is roughly the size and mass of Saturn. It orbits 2 stars instead of 1, but surprisingly, it does it in a stable way. The way this planet was discovered is kind of subtle. One of the scientists who worked on it explained that we had never actually seen the planet directly. We've only seen changes in brightness, tiny dips in the combined light of the system. Based on that pattern, scientists reconstructed what must be passing in front of the stars. There's also another detection trick for binary systems. Instead of just looking for dips in light, scientists now watch how the 2 stars move around each other. In a stable binary, their motion is predictable. But if something else, like a planet, is tugging on them, the rhythm gets off slightly. We can see small timing shifts and weird wobbles. That's a clue that something invisible is there. Researchers have recently tested this idea on data from nearly 1,600 binary systems with the help of NASA's TESS telescope. They found 27 systems that might contain planets, and more than half of the candidates were likely smaller than Jupiter. But these are still maybe detections. To confirm them, scientists need more data, like deeper light analysis and follow-up observations. Now, even experts are cautious here. When scientists explain that a lot of our knowledge about exoplanets comes from the planets that are easiest for us to detect. In other words, we're not seeing a full picture of the universe, and there could be many more strange or hidden worlds out there that our current methods simply miss. Then there's another problem. Planets in binary systems might not survive long. Some studies suggest 2 main outcomes. Either the planet gets pulled too close to its parent stars and is torn apart by gravity, or it gets flung out of the system completely. In both cases, the planet is a goner. So, even if circumbinary planets are more common than we think, they might not stick around long enough for us to easily find them. That's why researchers are now trying new methods, because right now, the big issue is how many planets likely hide in plain sight, simply because our tools aren't designed to see them. But we can detect other cool planets orbiting single stars, and some might even be suitable for colonization, like a planet candidate called GJ887d. It's not too far from Earth, just 10.7 light-years away. Scientists call it a super-Earth because it's bigger than our planet and heavy enough to have strong gravity and a thick atmosphere. Another great thing is that its parent star doesn't flare up much. Big stellar flares can blast away a planet's atmosphere, so the fewer flares there are, the better chance a planet has of holding on to air, water, and maybe even life. Another potentially habitable exoplanet is Gliese 667cc. It's just 22 light-years from Earth. This planet is around 4 times as massive as ours, and completes one orbit around its host star within 28 days. In other words, a year on this Earth-like planet is 13 times shorter than a year on our planet. Luckily, the star is a cool red dwarf, so the exoplanet most likely lies in its habitable zone, an area around a star where a planet could have liquid water. But there's still a chance that this world might be regularly baked by the flares from its parent star. And that's the thing. The more planets we discover, the less our solar system looks normal, Worlds with lava oceans, twin suns, and giant storms may not be rare at all. And we've just started looking. That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.